Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan video. In this video we're going to take a look at the second stage of the Red Ribbon Red Zone. So basically this is a pretty interesting fight. You fight two enemies in the beginning. So you fight the Android 19 and Android 20, and then you fight them again, but they are a joint unit. So here we're fighting them. They are physical and int type. They're immune to sealing, immune to stunning, immune to attack lowering, immune to defense lowering. There's nothing too crazy in this first phase. What's really important is in the second phase, they will actually become immune to Ki Blast. So they will actually absorb your Ki Blast based attacks and they will heal off of it. This is incredibly similar to the Super 17 fight from the GT Bosses Red Zone. In fact, I think it's almost a carbon copy pretty much. So if you use the team for that, kind of run a similar build up, and you should be fine here. It's important to take note that they are strength type in the second phase. So an important thing about that is by them being strength type, inherently you can build a team that has advantage against them. If you build a team that has really strong AGL characters and doesn't have any weak physical characters, then you already know that you're pretty much set up for the second phase, which is something important. Not to mention there's no tech type units in the first phase, so there's no real reason to bring it or not bring any AGL type characters. So yeah, overall just pretty good idea. What I've done here is I've built a team around that notion. So I've got double AGL Super Saiyan Goku Gohan leads that lead the movie Heroes category. I've got the Tapion, the AGL Tapion, and the Tapion and Minotia. They are going to be my one rotation. And then I actually have decided to bring the AGL Gohan. So this is the AGL free-to-play Gohan. I haven't done a review on him yet just because I want to see if he has an easy aim. But I thought might as well bring him along and see how well he does. And then we also have the Tech LR Goku, who is obviously from the Worldwide Download Celebration. Pretty good unit, I might add. Very, very strong. And yeah, we're just going to see. Now, the important thing to take note of here is that the only unit we have that has Ki Blast based supers is Gohan. And I actually wouldn't have brought Gohan, but I thought it'd be good to show what Ki Blast based supers do in the second phase. I thought it would be like a nice lesson, I guess, in inverted commas. So yeah, just important to know. Obviously, as you can see, we do take a little bit of damage here. It's okay to use your items, generally speaking, especially in these fights where the second phase is one typing of unit. If you've built your team correctly, you actually kind of want to use your items in the first phase, because that means that basically you're going to have all of your advantages in the second phase. So you're actually going to be stronger in the second phase overall than you might be in the first phase. Here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I can focus and take out the Dr. Gero, or Android 20 as he's known as. The reason is trying to get rid of one unit so that you're only facing one, and you can reduce the amount of areas that super attacks can actually come at you from. So that's kind of the strategy in the first phase. Take out one of the units and then start to work on the other one. But yeah, overall there's nothing too crazy in terms of like this stage. Once you've taken out Android 20 or Dr. Gero, you can basically spend all your time and effort focusing on the Android 19. The reason why I took out Dr. Gero first is because we do actually have a tech type unit, whereas we actually don't have an int type unit. So I'm trying to remove the unit that could potentially super my tech type unit, and that way I'm reducing the chance of risk that I can take. The tech Goku, really not too concerned about from a damage taking perspective. So yeah, because of obviously his guard capabilities, his revival capabilities. So although he is tech type, we're just not kind of factoring him in. And speaking of all those capabilities, it's about time we probably spoke about the units and discussed, exactly which ones are which and why we brought them. So Tapion, I'll start with him and Tapion and Minotia because I think it's a bit of a left field rotation. But basically Tapion has 50% damage reduction, 120% attack and defense, Just a really strong unit. He also has his giant form, which you will actually see pop for us as well for some free damage, which is pretty cool. And also some free damage nullification, which is also pretty cool. So nothing too crazy, but just a really good unit. Tapion and Minotia, they are pretty solid. They are a bit of a support unit for the Siblings Bond / Storied Figures category, but they're also actually pretty tanky. They gain 13% damage reduction, I believe, with every super attack that they perform, and they have a medium chance of firing an additional super attack whenever they do an ultra super attack. So if you can get the ultra super attack with these guys, you can basically, I want to say in inverted commas, get them 2 super attacks, and that gives them 30% damage reduction. They have huge defense alongside Tapion, and they look pretty good. I think with a dupe they would look a lot better, but I think overall they do look pretty solid. Then obviously we have Goku, and we also have Goku and Vegeta. They're going to be our one rotation, so Goku is pretty straightforward. Carnival allow Goku, one of the best units in the game. For me, definitely a top 5 unit. The big thing about Goku is quite simple. He has guard against all types. He also will gain effective against all types after he takes a hit, and he will gain additional defense. He stacks defense on his 12 key, which is pretty fantastic, and his 18 key, which is pretty good as well. The thing with Goku is once he drops below the health threshold of 58%, he will lose his guard, but he will gain the ability to revive. So you, again, are technically becoming stronger. And you can revive with Goku, and when he revives, he will regain his guard permanently, but he will also gain a whole bunch of other buffs. So basically, he's just really strong. Alongside him is probably one of the best second slot units in the game, and a lot of people, for some reason, don't like them. I'm not too certain why. They are just basically an improved version of all the joint Super Saiyan, Vegeta, and Goku units that have come before, and they're really solid. The big thing about them is getting their transformation boost. I think that's what causes a lot of people grief. With their transformation boost, which comes after them receiving 7 attacks, they gain 10% more damage reduction, and they gain crit chance, which is important. It does make them vastly different. I think personally, they just are a great unit anyway. Like, I don't really have a problem with them. So for me, overall, I'm just really not concerned. I think they're great. I love using them. And yeah, a lot of people maybe gave them a lot of flack when they first came out, but I actually just think they're great. Generally, the way they link up so well with LR Carnival Goku, the way they link up as a pairing together, the fact that they're both on the same team, they can run the 200% leader skills, they're just really strong. They tear up this boss like you cannot believe. Obviously, he is strength type, but in general, they just kind of tear up most bosses. They are very strong as a second slot unit. And with Carnival Goku being such a strong, powerful first slot unit, there isn't really anything else that we need to worry about. So here we're going to activate the Ocarina of Time buff. Well, not really, but we're going to be activating the Flute Brothers buff, the Doot Brothers. And yeah, basically, it's a pretty simple kind of active skill. It doesn't really do much. It does augment the rest of the rotation, gives a bit of ki, which is all good. It's just something we're going to pop to add some extra layers of protection, which I think we should appreciate for the most part. Tapion's going to be fine here. 50% damage reduction, plus guard, plus his natural defense should put him in a very safe spot. So I think he's more than fine. The Doot Brothers do suffer a bit of damage. I don't have a dupe in them, and they don't get a second super attack, so they can take a fair chunk of damage. Nothing too crazy with their active skill, which boosts their defense, but without the active skill they do tend to take a little bit. And then Gohan does fine, but Gohan also heals them, so kind of a bit of a doo-doo if you take Gohan. That's what happens if you do Ki Blast Supers. To tell if your super attacks are key based, just make sure that you check next to the super attack effect and see whether it has a little hand icon, no icon, or if it has a little Ki Blast icon. If it's got a little Ki Blast icon, it's a Ki Blast super attack, so just be in mind. Don't try and randomly guess which units have key based super attacks. That's pretty nutty. And yeah, basically, like I said before, the Goku and Vegeta, they're gonna just tear things up. They're gonna do a cuck ton of damage. And we've got Carnival Goku, who is also going to do a fair chunk of damage, actually. Was that 7 million attack set? That was indeed a 7 million attack set. He is really good once he gets going. Like, honestly, he is just really, really good. And then we have my second set of Goku and Vegeta units. Obviously, you want to get the boost with them if possible. That is what it is. That's why you'll see me moving them into harm's way, especially when there's a lot of strength attacks. Trying to just get that boost so they can just go all out as much as possible. But we're fine. We have Gogeta's active skill now, which we'll use to heal up, but it's also super important because Gogeta is going to give us the ability to see super attacks. Now this is important. Seeing super attacks is kind of a big deal in Dokkan. It really mitigates the amount of damage you're going to take because you're going to be able to see where all of the super attacks go. And this is super valuable information because it really just kind of helps you, well, you know, obviously tell where everything's going, but also keep your rotations, whether to split them, whether to break them. Sometimes people can get too attached to the idea of two units running together because those two units look so good together or because they work so well together. But sometimes, to mitigate damage, we have to make sure that we split up units. Realistically, that's kind of a super important method to use when you are trying to mitigate damage, because mitigation of damage is as important as dealing damage, especially if you're about to close out the event. I always find that, you know, it is important to make sure that we, you know, actually finish the event. So yeah, otherwise pretty good stuff. I think the team went pretty well. I would say overall it was a fairly good. Yeah, you can see they were taking some big damage. Big damage. Some bigger damage. Woo! That's a lot of damage. Yeah, you see, we're taking some pretty juicy damage, but it's okay. It's more than fine. We have a very strong rotation coming up. We do have Goku and Vegeta, who are super duper strong, high damage. We also do have the revive skill as well. We haven't used it yet off of Goku. So yeah, you know, we still have a lot of avenues just to make sure that we're not insta blowing up, basically. But yeah, in general, we are more than fine. I don't think we have any major problems. We're gonna heal up a little bit from the orbs here, and then all of a sudden we're like A-okay, good to go. Vegeta and Goku, they're gonna really put in the work. 292k, which is quite a bit, but we didn't super, so yeah, it is what it is. Goku and Vegeta are gonna come in with a super high attack stat, very nice, 7.7 mil, and then they're going to just drop a crit right on top of Android 1920, and all of a sudden we have finished the second stage of the androids, or the Red Ribbon Army, I should say, Red Zone. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Obviously, if you guys have any queries, let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, I think I will probably see you in the next one. So, as always guys, take care, stay safe, and of course, if you have any queries whatsoever on building your team or how to take on the event, just let me know in the comments below. Bye.